Hey guys, I've got a couple different videos planned today. I'm not sure if it'll be one or if it'll be two or three, but I'm going to talk about my city, Richland, Washington, as well as where I have lived in the past and also traveling my city and exploring the homeless community in Tri-Cities, Washington. So be sure to stick around and subscribe if you're interested in more ways to travel your city, ways I'm traveling my city, and seeing where this journey goes. I'm going to kind of go through this quick today because I'm leaving town. I'm flying out tomorrow, but I need to get this done because I just had some stuff I wanted to get off my chest that happened yesterday and I saw yesterday. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about my relationship and how I have seen homelessness in different communities that I live in. And I'm not sure where this video is going to go, but I just wanted to bring up the concept of homelessness and what's going on in my city as I travel my city, because I think it's a important topic that should not be ignored, and I'm not quite sure how to address it yet. So this vlog is going to be me processing through that, hopefully, and over the next few weeks I will hopefully come up with some good ways to share what's going on in the Tri-Cities, in my community, as well as the other communities that I've lived in. I grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, which is western South Dakota. It's in the Black Hills area. It's about 2 hours away from Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. There's a ton of social challenges on Pine Ridge. It's one of the worst counties in the U.S. There's lots of poverty there, and in Rapid City, South Dakota, also there's a ton of homelessness. It stereotyped as Native Americans, and I have some stories about that I can share later if you want to hear them, but it's not just Native Americans that are homeless, but people kind of just Rapid City is a strange town where people just think that it is Native Americans, and it's really not only, though there are reasons to believe that and think that. And this was, again, I haven't lived there for 10 years, so I'm going back there today. That's where I'm flying to for my class reunion. I can't speak to the last 10 years. I can only speak to when I was in high school and my experiences then. So I was around a lot of homeless people then. When I was there, I volunteered at the mission, and I would do the weekly, devotions. Or not weekly, I did monthly devotions and when our church served. And so I got to know people there, and I worked at a Bible bookstore for a little while where I had the opportunity to read the Bible and get to know several homeless people there. I also volunteered with Food Not Bombs in my high school a little bit, not a whole lot, but a couple times, and then I would just go buy Subway and share it with a homeless person and have a conversation. So lots of interactions there. When I was in Denver, I would sometimes go spend time with people just on the streets and walking around. So that happened a few times, but Rapid City was kind of my main experience in high school from 8th grade until end of high school. And then in Laramie, Wyoming, lived there for 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, some years. And the homeless problem there was, it was still a thing, but it was very different because of the weather and the culture. Not so much the culture, but the weather. It was just too cold to be homeless in the winter. You could not survive. So they shipped they bought bus tickets to Denver. So a lot of the homeless people went from Laramie to Denver. Not trying to hide them or anything, just really, you cannot survive in Laramie's winters without a home. In Brazil, it was really interesting. I was only there for a summer, but I really liked how they said pessoal sem casa, so people with no house, or no home, and I thought that was really a special way to word it. We can get into wording in languages and talking about people first later in another video. Also, the homelessness there, it was right outside our hotel. There was a plaza, and this plaza was just tons of homeless people, and then they had a festival. They had the festival de dança, this huge dance festival, and it just converted into this center for wealth and music and arts overnight, and the people sleeping there had to go somewhere else. Also, the homeless business there's no container laws, so you can go ask for beer when you're homeless, or you can go ask for money to buy beer, and you can be walking around the plaza drinking beer or alcohol or whatever, and it's not illegal for that to be visible. So that was an interesting experience. And then I moved to the Tri-Cities, Washington, which is another, after being so removed from homelessness in Laramie for that time, it was tough to come back to a place where you see it all the time. You see people begging on corners, you see people with signs, you see people in very humiliating situations for them and challenging situations for the community as well. And so this community, there are areas where those things are legal, where you can be on a corner with a sign outside of Walmart, but there's also areas where it's not legal. And talking to a friend who was homeless in high school, and she's okay with sharing the story. We've done several things working with the homeless population here together over the past couple years, and she's okay with it. But so this friend, she was homeless throughout high school, and so she's done a lot with it, and she knows like a lot of different things. Like her story, when her story came out in the newspaper, she won an art contest. She was being interviewed by the newspaper, and they asked for her address. She's like, I don't really have one, and so it was this big, huge thing that blew up. And since that, it kind of sounds like, this is just what I'm hearing her say, I could be wrong, but it sounds like Kennewick specifically, one of the 3 Tri-Cities, has been trying to like suppress and hide the homelessness, trying to suppress and hide the people that make it look not like a good city. And they're trying to beautify the city, which I respect and I understand, but at the same time, like here, if there's a tent out, even in the woods, kind of, there's a tent, it gets removed and thrown away, rather than like in bigger cities or places where it's a different culture of less trying to hide. I don't really know the words. I don't know the words. This is a processing video. And bigger cities where it's okay to be homeless, like that's someone's home, we're gonna leave it there. Instead here, we take it down and force them to just sleep on the ground with no shelter of any sort. So like, I'm not trying to critique and say like that's wrong, just that it's different, and it's different challenges for people without houses. So all of that is background. This friend Morgan, she still goes out, and so she's been going out for several months and finding these, there are these hidden communities in the Tri-Cities of homeless people. And so she's been going to this main one that she's found and just talking to people. There's sad things all around, and we can't just ignore those and pretend that our city is without those. I love Tri-Cities. I love every place I've lived, but there are negatives every single place. So thanks, guys. I don't know what's going to happen with this. So thank you. I make videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My schedule's kind of wonky right now. I'm Felicia Vom, and I hope to see you guys around. Thanks for sticking around. Be sure to subscribe.